Mound builders of the Mississippi. The extinction of such a vast and widely spread race as was that of the mound builders, in all probability by the fierce and powerful Red Indian, indicates an immense extent of time, for as by no possibility could any mere migrations from Asia have sufficed to sweep them away. It follows that their exterminators must have long been growing in numbers before they could effectually put an end to them. The writer from whom I have quoted remarks, probably with truth, that the mound builders were a milder and gentler race than their successors, and far more intellectual, as is shown by their skulls. The thoroughness with which this numerous and widely spread people were exterminated, and the fact that no tradition of them has ever been found among the Red Indians, indicate a very remote age as the period of their disappearance. And yet it is quite certain that if, as Ho Shin asserts, the mildly and highly refined religion of Buddha ever took root among early Americans, it must have been with such people as the mound builders who practiced some vast and dreamy nature worship, which would render them peculiarly susceptible to the teachings of the monks. For that they did practice such religion would appear from this, that since works like theirs were in every other part of the world invariably erected under the influence of belief, it is very unlikely that they formed structures many miles in length, employing probably the labor of millions for mere amusement. It must have been either among such a race, or by the Indian guide points out these mounds to the student of history with a feeling of awe. He says that he knows nothing of them. His fathers have told him that the builders of the mounds were a different race from them, that the mounds are memorials of a vanished people, the Kete Anish A Nabi, or very ancient men. The oldest Hudson's Bay officer and most intelligent of the native people born in the country can only give some vague story of their connection with a race who perished with they had ever been agriculturalists. It would be difficult to explain the migration of the present northern nations from districts where agriculture was known into the northern wilderness where it is impossible. Mound builders had practiced agriculture north of the Ohio before the advent of the Algonquin stock, and it is not probable that the art of cultivation was afterwards lost in this area. On the other hand, the territorial and dialectical connections of the Mississippi nations, except the first, second, and third subgroups, tend to refer the immediate original stock from which they were derived, not merely to a northern position, but directly to the attractive and desirable area for the Indian occupation upon the headwaters of the Mississippi. This is the only region in the western part of the Algonquin area, except that around Lake Superior, which could have developed without agriculture. The population necessary for the gradual formation of these nations. When forced out by increase of numbers, alien people, they would naturally have sought the prairie area bordering the Mississippi, and a knowledge of agriculture would have become necessary to secure them a subsistence. Agriculture was practiced by all of these nations when discovered except the Menominee and Arapahoes. The whole period of time covered by the occupation of the Algonquin stock and by their dispersion over the areas in which they were found is not a long one in comparison with that during which the Ganawanian family had possessed North America. This is shown by the present close connection between the Algonquin